So this was a new miner that we just had come in. As you can see, we got a few other customer miners behind us in the warehouse. So a customer contacted us. He was from overseas. He contacted us. I think he was watching YouTube videos and he checked us out on Twitter. So he messaged us, say, "Hey, I see what you guys are putting out. I really like, I want to, ask you more questions." We were talking back and forth. We set up a Zoom call with him. He decided he wanted to buy a 104 terahash S19j Pro. So he sent us Bitcoin. We got the miner ordered from him. It just came in and he wants to see an unboxing of it. And so, of course, we always get excited unboxing the S19s as well. They're pretty fun to do. So we're just going to do an unboxing for him. Bitmain obviously always packages their shit pretty well, I would say. Oh, I've never seen this before. So they got it boxed inside of a box. What the hell? I've never seen a package like that. It always comes in just a bit of the box. Interesting. Oh well. Now we get to do two unboxings. One unboxing of the box and then this unboxing of the miner. So for those that have never opened up a miner before that is brand new, this is how they're packaged. I think it's packaged actually really nice. The miners, at least we've never had one come damaged before. And here's the miner. Comes in the normal computer plastic type of packaging. And then I'm always curious with the control board. And he got the Amlogic control board. That's the miner, that's the unboxing. So then obviously while it's in storage, we put it back in the, we just put it back in the container. We put the bag back over it, put it back up, and then throw it up in the warehouse again. So we had a customer come to us. He had his miners at another facility. It was actually bolt mining. He got caught up in the bolt mining fiasco, and so he was really concerned about what happened to his miners when bolt mining took him offline, and he wasn't able to contact Bolt. They weren't really answering him. So when we got his miners, he asked us, "Could you guys please check them all, make sure everything's working? If anything's not working, let me know what's going on. Make sure they didn't swap hash boards with any of my miners, make sure the serial numbers matched up." And so we were happy to do this. And what we actually found was Bolt Mining switched two of his miners to their own mining pools. So Bolt was using two of his miners to mine for them. And about 5 of the miners did not work. There were no hash boards switched around or anything, so that was okay. But 5 miners didn't work. A lot of them were just temp sensors that were bad and weren't working, and I'll show that later. We were happy to test this customer's miners, make sure everything was working, and then when they weren't, we were able to help him figure out a repair facility, get them repaired, and then get them up and hashing for him. It was really unfortunate for him that he got caught up in the bolt mining fiasco, but he's with us now, and we're doing our best to take care of him, and obviously do a good job, and this is part of it. So this is what a temp sensor log or a kernel would look like. If there's a problem with it, you would see the pick temp sensor. If you're having issues like this, I'm getting better and better at diagnosing these. It's not too incredibly hard to do. They kind of tell you what's wrong, but it's one thing to diagnose it, it's another thing to fix it. This is what you would normally see. And obviously you can see here the miner's only detecting 2 hash boards. That can be a multitude of issues. Again, I'm not too knowledgeable on the repair side of things, but this one is just I believe actually I talked to called it a prom error. I don't really know what that means, but obviously this is what that would look like. This is me just trying various things to see if I can swap, connections around, see if that's the problem or anything like that. But I'm just trying stuff to see if I can make it work. This is what a bad temp sense would look like when the hash board connects. Obviously you can see the default's just kind of at 15 Celsius, and obviously you can see the pick temp sense failure code right there.
it's pretty common from my understanding. Again, I don't fix these things that often, or really at all, but obviously that's what you would be able to see. I'm used to fixing cars, but cars do something similar where they have just a default temperature they go to when things don't work, and then obviously the programming can figure out that that's the issue, and it would set that particular code for that particular issue. And we have another pick temp sensor right there. You can see all the fail code, pretty common, fairly easy fix from what the technician told me. Wasn't too bad. It just gets corrosion, and that's what causes it. This is just me. What we're doing is some of the hash boards were good on some of the miners, and so what I was doing here is I was swapping the hash boards over so we could get more fully functioning miners. It's a pretty easy process, just a screwdriver. I don't know what Phillips head is used, but I just have a Harbor Freight toolkit that I kind of lug around in my car, and then I have my normal automotive toolbox. But the Harbor Freight one is it's pretty good. It has a bunch of different Phillips heads, and obviously one of them is what I'm using here. You just remove the rear fans, and then obviously you have to remove the top cover to get the control board. Then you remove the rear fans, and then there's two screws on the top that connect the hash board to the bus bar. You take those off, and then you can unclip the wire that connects the control board to the hash board. Those are numbered. I think it's J0, or it's either J0, 1, 2, 3, or J1, J2, J3, J4. There's actually 4 connectors on there. They're labeled. It's again either 0, 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's 4 connectors on there, but they're labeled, and you can kind of tell which one goes to which hash board. And so if, let's say, the hash board 1 isn't working, that would be connector, like I believe it's J1 or J0, whatever. But then you would just follow that connector and then see which one that goes to the hash board, and that's the hash board that's not working. Then you take it out, but anyway, you take the 2 bolts off on the top of the bus board, unconnect the connector, and then you can slide the hash board out. It's really simple. And then obviously you repair it, or you slide it and replace it with a hash board that works, and then put it all back together. I always compare it again to working on cars, because that's what I did for 7 years. But miners are super easy to work on. They're not complex. They tell you what the problem is. You don't have to figure it out. There's not 1,000 different sensors that could go wrong, and I really like working on them. They're really simple machines. They're pretty reliable. I really like Bitmain's products. I've never used What's Miners before, so I've never worked on them, so I can't give any advice onto what those are like to work on, or even mine with. But from what I hear, it's pretty similar to Bitmain. They're pretty high quality. I can only speak for Bitmain's products, but again, I like them a lot. The S19s are really good.